afternoon. First of all, I want to congratulate the immersion contest awardees, and I have brought some personal gifts for them. Dash. You all
and participated in a event called Sprint at MD. It's related to finance. Three students, Kailash Kale, Tarun Bhavnani and Kriti Bharadwaj, as a team participated in an event called Sprint, which is related to finance specialization, which is being conducted by IIT Ghaziabad. So they have moved to the next round, and the colleges which are in the next round, they are all the top league. Out of the 100 teams, 15 teams have been chosen for the next round. So they are a part of that, and teams from institutions like IIM Shillong, SP Jain, they are waitlisted. So we are above them. This is a good news I thought we must share. Yeah.
So you all made us very proud. You were receiving the awards here and I was clapping in Mumbai. And I was particularly happy. Paritosh got the first prize, and he was one of those whom I was trying to give some guidance from my post-Fukushima panel discussion. And I think that was the topic on which he wrote. Very good. I'm extremely happy, and all your achievements make us very, very, very proud. Now let us start today's module, which was meant for the senior batch, but I thought leadership development program module should not be missed by the first years also. I mean the fresh batch also. So we have invited both the batches. Let me start from yesterday. Day before, the fresh batch was given a puzzle whether they can join these 9 dots by 3 straight lines, and this was given as a homework. Who has succeeded?
Right. That is a problem.
This is 4 lines. We are talking about 3 lines. This was
Okay.
4 lines we have done. Okay. The solution goes like this. Now, some people say, no, sir, you have taken somewhere tangentially, somewhere through the center. But in the question, it was not defined that you have to go through the center of the dot. Question only said, join these dots. So sometimes we over-imagine things. We over-imagine the coordinates. Problem never said go through the center of the dots. It only said, connect these dots. So these dots are still connected. Now I go one step further. Can you join these dots by a single straight line?
Yes, sir. Big line. Big line.
Tricky. Again Yes, anyone?
Sir, use a thicker line. Hold the paper.
That is the answer. Roll the paper into a tube and connect the dots with a spiral. When unrolled, the spiral becomes a straight line. So all the frames, all the parameters, we go on imposing on our poor mind. Those imaginations and those assumptions are coming from our pre-posted, mindset. Now let's come to the top. The topic is organizational dynamics. When you work in any organization, at the senior level, at the apex level, you need to know the organizational dynamics. And the essential components are structure and strategy. And its subcomponents are organizational structure, environmental setting, dynamic strategies. Then human resources. They have a lot to do with vision, mindset, values, training, gross happiness, organizational behavior, organizational culture. And then performance. Application orientation, efficacy, productivity. If you want to understand the entire organizational dynamics, you have to understand these three dimensions. First is structure and strategy, second is human resources, and third is performance. All the three are very, very important. Now let us go one by one. Structure and strategy. Let us talk of structure. A typical organizational structure usually looks like this. Very common. Even Professor Paran has made the structure like this. Very conventional organizational structure. But the same vertical structure can be made horizontal. What is the difference? Yeah, no one is under somebody. This was first time NTPC printed like this. NTPC for the first time printed their organization chart horizontally. Still people are reporting the same way, but nobody feels that somebody is under somebody. They are working for somebody. That feeling changes. That you are working for somebody, not working under somebody. That makes hell of a difference in your mindset. But still this is not the best. The best modern structure looks like this. None of us is better than all of us. And people gravitate around you. And each person has another circle of his own, where some more people will gravitate around him. It's like a solar planetary system. When people are feeling attracted towards you and to do something they are too keen. Your gravity, your magnetism is so high that they move around you. And this organizational structure is of modern times, when nobody reports to anybody, but they circle around people. They gravitate around people and group leaders to produce results. This is the most modern and best organization structure that is working today. Incidentally, I had a picture of only MBTI, so I have put it, but there can be any other picture. The idea is the planetary gear system, solar system. The basic conviction is none of us is better than all of us. No single individual is better than all collective wisdom. So they always go by collective wisdom, not by singular wisdom in this system. What is the purpose of the organization? The purpose of the organization is to enable ordinary human beings do extraordinary things, according to Peter Drucker. What does it mean? What does it mean? We try to make use of and integrate the pluses of all and nullify the negatives of all. Suppose a great presentation has to be made by your organization at a world forum or at ministry or at some high level. Obviously, you will choose the best orators, best intellectuals who will do the job most effectively for the organization. But there may be another job where oration may not be required, but a high thinking, meditating assignment would be there, where a lot of facets have to be addressed holistically, and some other person may be more skilled in that area. So this is the beauty of an organization. They integrate the pluses and nullify the minuses. Job to job, they can select people of different calibers, of different types, of different strengths, and it is used optimally. That's why organizations only give this possibility that extraordinary work can be done by ordinary human beings, collectively. Individually, you will have both, your minuses, your pluses. But collectively, it's different. So this is a great statement by Peter Drucker. It means a lot. The purpose of the organization is to enable ordinary human beings to do extraordinary things. And it really happens. It really happens. I will give some example from my earlier organizations. When I took over NPTI, one of the persons who was on the selection board, the Central Electricity Authority chairman, he said, I'm all the time worried that you have joined with such a large vision, but it's a set of mediocres. He said, it's a set of mediocres. 500 mediocre people. I'm all the time worried that we took a chance of bargaining your career for this organization, but we always doubt how would you make extraordinary dreams possible with most mediocre people. 500, out of which only 120 were kind of qualified, rest were technicians and this kind of people, low staff. But after a few years, not only he, the whole country, acknowledged the same set of 500 ordinary people did extraordinary work. I could not take a single bright person further because in government it's a great issue to increase the manpower. That manpower sanction for higher numbers is the most impossible thing. So same people did extraordinary work, and today they have become the largest training institute in the whole world. So this is possible, this has happened in real life. And the secret is this: how do you fit them in proper jobs, and how do you integrate their process, and how do you vibrate and resonate them to the highest motivational amplitude? Secret is there. Then environmental setting. No organization works in isolation. Even if you are a consulting organization, even if you are a production organization, if you are a training organization, you are an educational institute, no organization works in isolation. The environmental scanning is very important. What kind of politics, what kind of external environment, what kind of market, what kind of competitors all matter to you in an organization is very, very important to understand. Otherwise, you will never be able to understand in what direction you should go, unless you are sensitive to the entire environmental setting. And there's a very, very popular, very common, but not realized, a very powerful tool is only this. Identify your strengths, identify your weaknesses, identify your opportunities, and identify your threats. If you do this very, very honestly and religiously, your understanding where you are is very, very obvious. This is a very simple tool, but it's like a thermometer and a barometer which really measures that what is your position as an organization. You do it for your own Great Lakes IMR. It needs 2 pages. And the points, bullet points are hardly 5-6 in each item. So in one page, 2 items come. Another page, these 2 items. Just take 2 pages, go on writing what are the strengths, what are the weaknesses, what are the threats, and what are the opportunities. And the entire picture becomes clear what next we should do. The action plan starts emerging in your minds. It's a very powerful tool. In fact, perhaps I told you that in NPTI, few weeks we only brainstormed on this chart. There were hundreds of flip charts on the wall, but the central chart was this. And everybody, right up to the 500th person at the lowest level, even at the illiterate level, was consulted to identify these 4 parameters. And somebody else wrote for it. But right up to the peon, they used to call them peons. I changed the designation forever later, but right up to that level, we consulted. And after that brainstorming session, after that SWOT analysis, automatically a 40-point action plan emerged. A 40-point action plan emerged. How to utilize our strengths, how to nullify our weaknesses, and how to use the opportunities, and how to diffuse these time-ticking, threatening bombs. This 40-point charter is not the only one I tried in my life. V. Krishnamurti also tried when he first time took over as chairman of SAIL. People said SAIL can never come out of red when he took over. But he met all those thousands and thousands of people, collected their wisdom, and made a booklet like this, which I made. And he kept this booklet of 40 action points in the pockets of every employee. At least those 120 qualified people, they used this extensively. While proposing anything, they would say, sir, this is as per 28th point of your action plan. So I cannot refuse approval here, because it is out of 28th point of action plan commonly agreed. Very, very strong action plan. If somebody wants to share, I would request one of my colleagues to make a photocopy, because I am not left with many copies now, but it's a model to be seen. Let's go further. Then organizational setting in external environment. I told briefly day before yesterday what it is all about. When I answered the question, how the bankrupt electricity boards have started paying you, this was the slide I showed to the governing council. The wind may blow from any direction, but the direction in which you go depends on how you set the sails. I could not change the bankruptcy of power sector sitting as head of a power training ministry. That was the job of Secretary Power and Minister of Power. But I set my sails in such a manner that I started earning revenue from the same bankrupt electricity boards. So this is a very big secret of self-managing leadership. How you adjust to the environment. How precisely you understand the environment on every framework, political, legal, technical, every possible angle. If you understand the environment, you can strategize in such a manner that you will go in the direction you want, let the winds blow in any direction. Because you are capable of setting your own sails. I will not repeat that example, which is day before yesterday, I told, and many must be remembering. Or for the other batch, should I repeat? Not necessary. The problem was, we were not getting any revenue. And all our curves of training weeks, number of trainees, and revenue earning were going down like this from 1991 to 2000. So the question was how to revive this institution. How to revive this institution. And then in our brainstorming session, we asked questions. What is wrong with power sector? What is wrong with power training? And what is wrong with everything? 3 questions. Everything came visibly clear what was wrong everywhere. Then we said, in this situation, how do we survive? How do we survive? So we strategized. First of all, we understood that there is no compulsion of training in this sector. So we made a national training policy, making 1 week training every year minimum mandatory for anybody who works in power sector. So there were 10 lakh people working in power sector. It became compulsory that all the 10 lakh should come for training. Second step we took was, after this mandatory provisions, when the training policy was actually implemented, there was some percentage of salary budget to be earmarked for training. People started sending people for training because it was mandatory, but they won't pay. They will say, why you are not paying? Then their answer was, any cut on budget will first come on training budget. So that was second point. So then we convened a conference of regulators with the CERCS chairman and all the state regulatory boards. And we put up that issue to them. First of all, we explained them what training means. They said, yes, it's very important, even we would like to be trained. Then we said, we want money for training. It cannot be free. So they said, what is your problem? He said, we don't get the money paid for the training. So after a lot of deliberation, it was decided the training cost would be built into the O&M budget, operation and maintenance budget, which is part of tariff. So the moment tariff is realized, that component of training is realized automatically, and that cash flows back to us because we have trained people and we are waiting for the payment. So we set our sales in such a way that any wind may blow, you go on becoming bankrupt, but this money out of tariff will come to me, that I ensure. But again, I'm telling you, all this process took me 2 years. Making a national training policy after collecting national consensus by regional meetings, zonal meetings, national meetings was a huge job. It took me 2 years. Now, how? Question is, what did I do in the first 2 years to get ready? That's a big question. The simple answer was, I said, fine. As a national organization, am I not supposed to prepare future power engineers? Is this organization only to train the current engineers? No. We are a national organization, we have a national objective, so we can equally well prepare the future engineers. So I started a number of courses, like post-diploma in power, postgraduate diploma in power plant engineering, postgraduate diploma in power systems engineering, BTech in power, MBA power management. All these courses I opened with the expertise within the organization. There was 35 years of experience of power engineers in that organization, and we collected revenue from the market. Never depended on government. This revenue was coming from the market. So first 2 years we survived like that. And later on, when the whole situation was corrected, we started getting revenue from boards also. So today, that organization earns 50 crores every year out of training. And they have become the largest power training institute in the world. Not power training, any training institute in terms of numbers. Now, this mission cannot be imposed, it has to be shared, in fact co-authored by all concerned. This is the key. One senior man cannot impose his vision on all. He has to make a co-authored vision with all involved. So everybody owns it. Yes, this is what we have committed to. So it's a common vision which works. And review it quarterly. Now this action plan has to be dynamic, and it has to be fine-tuned every year, biannually if possible, even quarterly. You have to relook into it to make it very dynamic. This I told you, the essential part of vision is dreaming big. Unless you can dream big, you cannot do anything extraordinary in this world. Dream handicapped, vision handicapped people cannot do anything big in this life. So you know the revised statement, think big, think ahead and think fast. This is another example of a common vision. On-time performance is said to have helped Indigo become the second biggest airline. People try to be on Indigo seems to have got its fundamentals right, says this fellow from the global consultancy firm of KPMG. Now this man has made a very strong one vision. Be on time. That's it. Single one phrase statement. Be on time. And today, many people prefer Indigo rather than Kingfisher and Air. Many people. If you have to attend a meeting at 11 o'clock in Delhi, and if you are flying from Bombay, to be sure that you would attend the meeting, you will take Indigo, not Kingfisher. Their on-time performance is an obsession. Not only vision, it's an obsession. I have seen myself. You know, the flight time is printed on the car, the literature, whatever ticket, whatever boarding card, your first reservation letter, everywhere. That boarding time, or you can say flight time, in each flight of other airlines I have seen, that is the time when it starts moving, taxiing. And in case of Indigo, I have matched my watch. At that point of time, when they say flight time, they are on air. They are not on ground. They have taken off. I have seen a number of times by my watch. Oh, 7:20 was the flight time. Yes, we are already in air. Now question is, how airline control cooperates so much with that airline and not with other airlines? Otherwise, normally there are problems of right of the way. You will not be given signal, you will not, but it never happens with Indigo. The entire thing has been tuned so much of pre-work has been done, and so much of confidence has been built, even in controlling authorities. Don't play with Indigo. They are one airline who are known for on-time performance. Let them, and everybody helps you. If you make a very strong vision, mission and obsession, everybody helps you to achieve it. It's really something to be studied, how they don't fail. And I have seen a few symptoms. Like they were the first airlines where just before landing, those air hostesses will come and say, sir, give your waste, that waste bottles, this, that, tissue papers. And so politely they will again announce, if anything is remaining in your pocket, front pocket of the seat or anywhere, please, this lady is again coming, put it in the bag. And then they would explain, this is only to help us keep on-time performance. We don't want to waste any time in cleaning the aircraft, and that time you can help us save. Then this is the first airline where I got an announcement made, first time I heard, caring for the passengers on time reaching. Okay, we have reached you on time or 10 minutes before. Now you should reach your destination also well in time. With that concern, I heard first time in that flight, please collect your baggage from belt number 3. They are so worried that when you get down, you don't have to waste time in locating the belt where your luggage is coming. So you already know that belt number 3 you have to go. So you save your time also. Then later on some other airlines are also now started following. But they were the first to say this. So all this is a very strong obsession of the entire organization, to which every air hostess, every attendant, everybody cooperates. I have seen in one flight, it was raining so heavily, and I was so sure that now they will be delayed. But they made us run in the race with all umbrellas, helping us to somehow board the plane on time. The bus went right up to the end of the plane gate, and just few feet distance we had to go in race, but they said no, we cannot help, we have to be on time, and whatever umbrellas we can support, we'll support. So we were slightly wet also, but again it reached on time. So it's an obsession now. It's an obsession now for this airline to be on time. This is Jack Welch. He's the former CEO of GE. He says, boundaryless people, excited by speed and inspired by stretched dreams, have an absolutely infinite capacity to improve everything. This he has done, and this he has published in a few books, which are very popular for management students. in a foreign environment. What I experienced in Indian environment, I am going to publish, and I bet it won't be any less readable book than Jack Welch. Only the numbers are different. He can talk millions of dollars and billions of dollars. I will be able to talk lakhs of rupees and crores of rupees. The figures will only change, but the vision which has driven that organization is very similar to what he talks in his books. The vision was so strong. The vision was so strong that once I was giving this case study in a master class of directors in Mumbai, and there was a question shot at me. Sir, how are you sure that whatever miracles you did in your time, still they are continuing? How did you ensure that it was not a singular leadership, it was something which continues? Very difficult question was asked. And before I could attempt any answer, there was a SMS, tone on my telephone. I said, let me see. And that SMS was worth reading to that audience. Somebody from there, where I lived something like 3-4 years back, one person from there reports to me, sir, we have crossed 1 lakh 20 weeks. That was your dream. I said, this has answered everything. The leadership continues, the vision continues, and they still consider me a part of that common dream, whereas I am out of that organization. Nobody remembers you after you retire from a government service. Nobody cares for you. But somebody reports to me after 3-4 years, sir, we have done it. That was our common dream. Because I used to say, the moment you cross this number, you will be the largest trading organization in the world. So they did it. And they felt like sharing. So this is very, very true what Jack Welch says. Boundless people, excited by speed and inspired by stretched dreams. There are two things, speed and dream. This I have already told you day before, that you should have long-term goals and short-term milestones for reaching that. And bifocal vision facilitates that. Now tell me this story, did I tell you or? No, not to either batches. Okay. Then this story is very, very interesting to remember. Mr. Gorbachev once went to a construction site where a young boy was working, chiseling stones and fitting them, virtually sweating and even his fingers bleeding because of chiseling of stones. He might have cut his fingers. He was bleeding, he was sweating, he was virtually harassed like person. So Gorbachev asked him, my dear boy, what are you doing? This fellow said, can't you see what I am doing? I am sweating. I am pained. I am doing a dirty job. I am bleeding for my survival. Can't you see what is there to ask? Can't you see all this? That I am doing this useless job for my living. Then Gorbachev moved to the diametrical opposite side, same side. He moved diametrically opposite and saw this boy who was doing a similar job. He asked him, he looked a little happy. So he asked him, my dear boy, what are you doing? Oh sir, don't you know? We are building a great church where for thousands of years, thousands of devotees would come and pray, God, I'm a part of that team which is building this great church. Same job, different perception. So you have to change the perception of people. When my people thought they were mediocres, I had to change their perception that they are not mediocres. They are the greatest human beings. They are the people who will make future of power sector. They are the people who will groom people for power sector. They are the greatest people in power sector. I have to change their perception. So this is known as mindset. Mindset is nothing but pre-posted attitudes in your mind. They make your mindset like that. Oh, I'm doing a small job. I'm doing a dirty job. Those are the perceptions. That is the mindset now. So you have to come out of that mindset. That's very important. Is this question familiar to you? Did I tell you earlier?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, one batch perhaps. Which batch? Senior batch? Senior batch. Okay. Junior batch? No. No? Okay. So I'll take a few minutes to explain what is this. You know, after a course on Six Sigma in Mumbai, after the whole course went through, somebody said, why Six Sigma in power distribution business? Six Sigma is a quality tool where we select a pain area or a troublesome area and then analyze it very, very precisely. First of all, we define it very, very precisely, microscopically. Then we measure it with best of statistical tools. Then we analyze. Then we improve. And those improvements we implement to control the problem and make more profit. Like recurring cable faults, recurring complaints from the customer. It could be any troublesome area. Then this man said, why should I do all this? Following this complicated procedure, why should I make more profit? I said, why you are not interested in more profit? So he said, in a mandatory business where we can take only 16% return on investment as our earning, which I am already earning, why should I make any more efforts? So this question was posed to me, and I am posing this question to the newcomers who have not been shown this slide earlier. What could be your answer? It says government regulation says I can take only 16% return on investment, which I am getting. So why should I make more profit when I can't take it? Any answer from the newcomers? Even one person attempts, I will be happy. Yes. She says if more profit happens, government may come with some modified regulation. But where that extra profit now earned would go?
To the customer.
It will be for the
New customers.
The answer is why can't you make more profit and pass it on to the customer, making electricity cheaper for you and become more competitive in the market? The customer is not only out of focus, he is out of sight. You are working for yourself, whereas you are always working for some customer. Somebody is the receiver, and you are working for him, and you are not thinking about him. And state repercussion of this was when Tata Power was permitted by Supreme Court to distribute energy in the same area where Reliance was supplying. 2 lakh customers shifted from Tata Power, from Reliance to Tata Power. And this is continuing because Tata Power electricity is cheaper. So who will not go for cheaper power? So this is again a mindset, a mind block. You make a mind block. And the same thing which I told you, you have to go to external orbits to find answers. You cannot be in a single orbit. An empowering vision is like setting a high voltage for pushing electricity. This is a very important statement I am making. Please take note of it. You are all electrical engineers. Most of them. If not all, most of them. Or many. An empowering vision is like setting a high voltage for pushing electricity, but identifying impedances and installing capacitors, voltage boosters, regulators, reclosers, sectionalizers, surge arresters, etc. is equally important for smooth flow of electricity. When I made this highly empowering vision for NPTI, one of my unit heads was at cross. I don't agree. It is government's headed to give us money if they want to train people. Why are you making this kind of vision? That we should be self-sustaining. He was totally different view. So I had to sectionalize him. I have to use a sectionalizer and make him do certain things within his mindset. So when you actually flow electricity of a very empowering vision in an organization, don't think it will be absolutely smooth. There will be resistances, there will be coils, there will be inductors, and there will be every possible, obstruction also. And you should know how to handle that. That is organizational dynamics. If you don't understand this, you think everything is going fine, electricity is flowing, it is not flowing. If I had 10 units across the country, what I was envisioning in corporate office, I have to equally see whether it is flowing to all those 10 units or not. And where are the impedances? And how should I make corrections? Do you appreciate this? Resistance, negativities, vision constraints. Now, you have seen this diagram? This is a vision constraint many people have. Now, this fellow standing here says this object is concave. This fellow says no, this is convex. Both are fighting. This is vision constraint. Now, how do you come out of this vision constraint is, you come out of that board, you come out of that plane, and in the third dimension when you look at, then you realize, yes, both. It is concave as well as convex. But you have to come out of the board to see that both are true. And that is a real vision constraint in life. Many people can't come out of the board and they keep on fighting. This is convex, this is concave. That vision constraint you face. I told you about the attitudinal viruses. This particular story I have told you. That people think they are doing small jobs. Another thing. I perhaps told you that first day when I joined, I asked for the electrician to change the core belt to my left hand side. My peer said you get it done in the lunchtime. After that, I asked him why. This is still here. He says, no sir, the electrician came and he said, no, this is just impossible, I can't do it. All the wires are coming from the false ceiling. In the afternoon, I took meeting of the principal directors. They were called executive directors at that time. I said, we have to work out a plan that we do the highest performance compared to the last 35 years of this existence of this unit. It can't be done. What are you saying? I said, why? Sir, first of all, you have joined in July, so 1 quarter has gone. Now you want to do wonders in remaining 3 quarters. HCD boards don't send us trainees. What can you do? Can you force them to send? All possible arguments. It cannot be done. Just cannot be done. That's it. Electrician to the executive directors. One mindset. Nothing can be done. So, you have to actually research the antibiotics and then only kill these attitudinal viruses. It's not a simple job to search the antibiotics for such attitudinal viruses. One, I told you the concept of a small job. Second, I told you nothing can be done. And same people, after 2 years, if I used to set a target of 1016 lakhs by some calculation, they would achieve 1020 lakhs. Same set of people. After 2 years of working, they got to know that whatever this senior management team predicts, it's possible to achieve it. And they would jump a step further. Say we have done it. But that needed a total change of mindset, that it can be done. From it, anything cannot be done. Same electrician did wonders in my office later on. But on that day, he was finding it difficult to change the switch from right hand side to the left hand side. All question of attitude setting, mindset. This I told you already. No job is small away. Now, are you watching Just Dance? On TV? Have you marked something extraordinary? Did you mark anything extraordinary while watching this program Just Dance? Anyone? Anyone? Is it like any other dance program? I watched it very carefully. You know, there is a system of elimination. 4 out of 10, then 2 out of 4, then finally 1 out of, the last person will win. So a girl was losing, and Hrithik Roshan is the main judge. One girl was dancing beautifully, but she finally got eliminated. So she, obviously like any other loser, she had tears in the eyes. Hrithik went and consoled her with a check of 3 lakhs of rupees from his personal account, saying that I have read when you came for the competition, your dream is to earn something out of this competition and open a dancing school in your own place, in your own village. And this small amount, if it can help you, that will be my great happiness. And starting from this girl, to every loser, he has started giving his personal checks. One judge I have seen in all the TV competitions that he has such a large heart that he rewards the losers to somehow keep up their motivation. He doesn't want them to go as losers. Because the whole structure of the program is that it is elimination. Go on, eliminate. Then only there will be some top person. So when they are eliminated, he goes on rewarding the losers. I was indeed touched. this boy is a great person. So many judges came, and all are sitting on crores and crores and hundreds of crores of rupees. But nobody had heart to give this gesture. In one of the classes that I was conducting for these class 4 employees in that organization, in the tea time, when I came out just to mix with them, they were whispering something in their ears, not having enough courage to come to me and narrate the problem. So I noticed that something is going on, they are not gathering courage to mention it to the Director General. They think the distance is too much. So I asked somebody, please check, what is it going on? So then somebody went and, encouraged one of the employees, tell your problem. So he came to me and said, sir, we are working here for last 25, 30 years. We did not get a single promotion. We have been working in this organization for last 30 years, and we have not been given a single promotion. I said, tell me, is there anything that I can do in a government organization within the rules? He said, sir, some, what do you call? ACP has come. Some circular by DOPT, Department of Personnel and Training, in the Government of India, that regulates the personnel issues of the public sector. So there is some circular which says automated progression in the career. Some kind of provision was there, that if everything is fine, at least in 12th year, he should be upgraded to the next scale, and in 24th year to the still next scale. Such a small thing. 12 years of working, one scale up, and 24 years of working, second scale up. They said, sir, at least if that can be somehow applied to us. In a way, we were, under the government. On the other way, they used to say it's an autonomous body, you manage your affairs. So it was a puzzling situation. It touched me so much that what are these people working for? So I immediately got collected that circular, went to the governing council and persuaded that this must be immediately agreed to. And it was agreed to, and so-called losers, they thought they will never get anything in life. Whosoever had completed 12 years got 1 grade up, and who completed 24 years, he got 2 grades up. And that was a big thing for them. It was a big moral booster for them. So you have to always take care of the losers. We always applaud the winners, hardly look at the losers. Where are they? This I told you perhaps, a motivational. Now we come to the values. What are the values of the organization? This great man, V. Krishnamurti, under whom I had a great privilege of working, was Chairman BHL, then Chairman Maruti, then Chairman SAIL, and in best possible positioning of a diploma holder he got in life. Everything he got in life. He was a great manager. When he took over BHL, it was HEIL with some other units under some different names. So government decided to integrate all the units and make it BHL, Bharat Railway Activist Limited. And he was made chairman. So he used to go and meet people, that was his habit. So he made a round to all the units, met everybody. We all met him in a big auditorium. And then the kind of questions being asked to him bothered him a lot. Sir, I am a 66 graduate. I am only a senior engineer here. In Haridwar, he becomes a deputy manager. Well, I mean, different treatments are being given in different units. Can you help us? Now we are one PH we want same treatment and same platform. So it was a big challenge. So he engaged a team of bright MBAs at the corporate office and asked them to collect all the personnel manuals of different units and study them carefully and come out with a new manual where every justice will be done to every employee of every unit and there will be some kind of common platform. They took 3 months to work on. Finally they came with the manual and they said, sir, it is for your approval. So he glanced at that big manual and asked them a question. Is there any clause in this manual which can be interpreted in 2 different ways? There are number of provisions, number of clauses in any manual when the management views it in a different angle to put down the employee. They think by giving something less to the employee, they are benefiting the management. In fact, there was one personnel general manager who used to claim, I have gained so much for this company by stopping so many increments of people. There was one negative general manager like that. So he said, is there anything like that? He said, no sir, we have been very careful. Still, he went to the last page and with his own handwriting, it's a history, he has written a line there. In case of any double interpretation of any of the clause in this manual, the interpretation going in favor of the employee shall be accepted as final. No wonder Krishnamurti is counted as best 11 productivity authorities in the whole world. In the whole world. Whenever World Bank team visited, they always said, World Bank, doors are open to you, please join. He was such a big manager. Now look at this single example I am telling you. Krishnamurti has a positive energy that gets the best out of people and generally takes the not so soft options. This perhaps you know that one machine can do the work of 50 or more ordinary men, but no machine can do the work of an extraordinary man. And who is an extraordinary man? Who is an extraordinary man? You. How do you classify? Who is an extraordinary person? Extraordinary man is just a highly motivated man. You don't classify them by qualification. His PhD is MBA. No. Who is most motivated? That is the best classification of people. Most extraordinary man is the most motivated man. So you have to take care of the motivational aspects. People will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel. This picture is very beautiful. It might touch you. Something more I am going to tell you that will explain you what the statement is. You know, I joined BHL after doing my MTech. Worked for 3 years and lost my first promotion. So I went to my chief engineer and I said, what's wrong? Where were you not satisfied? He said, no, absolutely satisfied. We have given you outstanding reports in all the 3 years. There is no question. I can give you a certificate in writing. And why did I lose my promotion in my whole batch, where I was the topper in the training of 1 year. How did I lose my promotion? We don't know. Go to the general manager personal and ask him. Because it used to be a common list, for all the. So I went to the general manager person, and as a very young man, agitated man, I was fighting with him. And he was giving me all kinds of absurd answers. Tomorrow you will compare with a person in Haridwar. Your luck is tied to a particular department. If there is no vacancy in this department, I cannot give you a promotion. You can't compare with your batch. Tomorrow you will compare with Haridwar. All kinds of nonsense he was talking, and all kinds of heated answers I was giving him. Forgetting he is a general manager, I was most, agitated man. So as a young man, I was red hot and I was fighting with him. Suddenly the door opened. And the works manager came. He's a very senior authority in BHA. A very old man. His name was T.K. Shastri, he is no more. He entered. And general manager stood up, in respect to him and everything. Then he came and sat down by the chair by my side. And without bothering, I again continued the subject. And the heated argument continued for just a minute, or maybe a couple of minutes. Suddenly, that old man says, "Oh, Mr. Gupta, please stop." And he looks at me and says, "Are you B.S.K. Naidu?" Very difficult to remember my name, 3 letters. He said, "Are you B.S.K. Naidu?" Yes, it is. Mr. Gupta, before you say anything further, let me first apologize to this young man. I was instrumental in denying his promotion. No, I just came down. I said I have nothing more to say. How you make anybody feel? He harmed me by a promotion, but how he made me feel? Absolutely relaxed. I then only said one sentence, that he is my ultimate HOD. And now if he is apologizing, what were we are doing? What were we are doing? The reason was, in my own department, there was a section leading draftsman who comes to the same level of engineer after many years of working. He was a pujari in Balaji temple of the colony. So before promotion, Shastri went there and he touched his feet, "Sir, this last end of my life, this promotion you must give me." So when the list came, he said, "Oh, because 25 marks out of 100 are in the hands of works manager." So he said, "Oh, this young man has long life, he can do many things." Okay, 0. Gave all 25 to that pujari. So there was a blunder, ethical blunder, but the man who made me feel so relaxed, I still remember him. That he had courage of conviction, and at least courage of realization to apologize to a very young man. He simply said, "Let me first apologize to this young man." So this is empathy, and this is what people remember. That day, I am sure, because it goes on. You all know what is training and qualification, but still, to the regulators' conference, to the senior people who don't understand the meaning of training, I have to show them this slide. What training? An untrained person can make only noise out of a most sophisticated musical instrument. You get him the best world's instrument, like me. I don't play any instrument. I can make only noise out of it. But a trained person can turn that noise into melodious music, and not only music. Training practice can produce not only music but Bharat Ratnas out of it, as it happened in case of Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad. Simple instrument. It gave them Bharat Ratnas. Because they practiced and practiced and practiced to achieve those heights. That is training. That is the meaning of training. But this realization has to come. Have I told you this story? No. Very interesting story again. And believe me, I used to tell these stories to the senior most people who matter in the power sector. Be it Power Secretary or Chairman of Central Regulatory Commission or be it Power Minister. These slides were shown to them. Reason is the realization is lacking. No, people don't pay attention. Chief engineer training used to be a punishment posting in the field. If you want to punish somebody, make him chief engineer training. When it comes to sending somebody for training, he should be the most useless man so that the job doesn't work, suffer. And the most useless people used to get on repeated for training. That was the scenario of training a few years ago. So these stories were told to all those guys. Today I am telling you. Once upon a time, a very strong woodcutter asked for a job with a timber merchant, and he got it. The woodcutter was determined to do his best. His boss gave him an axe and showed him the area where he was supposed to work. First day, he cut 18 trees. He was so strong that first day he cut 18 trees. Very motivated by the boss words, the woodcutter tried harder the second day. But second day he could cut only 15 trees. Third day, only 10 trees. He was puzzled. And day after day, he was bringing less and less trees. I must be losing my strength, the woodcutter thought. He went to the boss and apologized, saying that he could not understand what was going on, why he was losing day by day, 18 to 10. The boss asked, when was the last time you sharpened your axe? Sharpened? I had no time to sharpen my axe. I have been very busy trying to cut the tree. I had no time to sharpen the axe. Working hard is not enough. One has to keep on sharpening one's skills. And they need not be a mechanic's skills. They need not be just vendor skills or jointer skills. Skills can be conceptualization, visualization, envisioning, perception, road mapping, direction setting. All these are skills. And unless you sharpen your skills, unless you take time off to sharpen your skills, how can you expect to cut 18 trees every day? That is the meaning of training. Then people used to ask, okay, learning, training, everything is fine. What relation it has with the business? Even Anil Ambani asked me once, okay, you are doing great things, but how do you relate to the business? Value vision domain of business has a strong bearing on mindset, attitude, training and learning. Learning MBS is necessary for the organization to remain competitive at all times, to nurture and retain talent. You cannot be competitive if you are not constantly sharpening your skills. I told you about this helicopter skill perhaps. Helicopter skill is once in a quarter at least, going above the ground and looking at the entire business holistically. You may be an accounts man, you may be a technician, you may be a contracts man. But once in a quarter, you have to go up and see the entire business in which the company is working. Then you can come down, zoom down to your own area of specialization. But once in a quarter at least, You should attend courses like legal for non-legal, psychology for non-psychologists, accountancy for people who have nothing to do with accounts. Every exposure is necessary. According to a MIT report on innovation, 80% of all the innovations are made by the people working outside of the discipline for which they were trained. Can you believe it? 80% of the innovations have happened by the people who have not been specialized in that area. Six Sigma was not invented by a quality engineer. It was invented by a communications engineer. Can you believe it? Reason is, when you make cross-functional teams to meet, the other people ask so innocent questions to you that you come out with some very unfeeling facts of life. You ignore because you think you are a specialist, so you ignore. So, the secret is like this. When you go deeper and deeper and deeper as a specialist, you lose the outside vision. You become specialist of that area. But you have gone so deep that you cannot see the outside area. The view from a broader perspective widens your horizon. It widens your horizon. That's why the importance of looking at others is there in life. You have to look at others, and you are all connected, and the wisdom should flow, should funnel down in fact, from all kinds of areas which relate to your business. Now, therefore we had started this helicopter-centric 4-quadrant training, 360-degree training, with attitudinal, behavioral, and the functional and the commercial side. Now Anil Ambani once asked me, oh great diagram, but it all looks like people-centered. What am I getting as a business? So I answered him by printing another diagram with his preface on the training calendar, and that diagram was this. I said, now look at this diagram. Training as a prime mover of your business. When business is concerned, I do programs like customer orientation, business development strategies, marketing management, Six Sigma mindset, business communication, commercial, so on. When it comes to organizational culture, I am doing all this: mapping learning ambience, leadership, mentoring, networking, empathy, gross happiness indexing. When it comes to performance enhancers, I am doing self-motivation, goal setting, prioritization, focus, result orientation, productivity drivers, and balanced scorecard. When it comes to ethics, I am doing programs on business ethics, sensitivity towards stakeholders, walking the talk, corporate social responsibility, work-life balance, human values, and so on. Now, he did not realize that the same items which were in my earlier diagram, which looked employee-centric, were reframed in this diagram, which looked business-centric. He was very happy. Yes, these are all business concerns. These are all organizational concerns. These are all performance enhancers. Ethics. Oh, fine. Your 360 diagram is good for my business also. Not only for employees. It actually happened. When he liked this diagram, I printed it opposite his preface and my diagram opposite my forward. Both went hand in hand. Now this is a very interesting concept. What is gross happiness? Some 3 bright girls came from different colleges of Mumbai. They appeared very bright in the interview. And they came to me and said, sir, we want to do something extraordinary in our summer project. I said, what extraordinary? No, something which has not been done so far. So in a casual talk, I asked them, look, it was 2007 or something. I said, look, India is doing so well. Our GDP growth is 10%. Our Mukesh Ambani is one of the healthiest people in the whole world. India is doing so well. Then do you think India is happy? They said, no, sir. It can't be said because farmers are committing suicide, crime page is increasing every day, and there is so much of, scams, so many of scams, so we are not happy. I said, but India is growing on one hand, and on the other hand, you say India is not happy. They said, yes. I said, now, same question you bring to an organization. Reliance gives you very high salaries. So should the employees of Reliance be very happy? They do market survey every year and benchmark it and try to give better of the entire benchmark of the sector. So very good paymasters. So are people happy in this organization? They said, yes, it's worth exploring. I said, explore this, it will be a great project. So what they did was, they did brainstorming for a few days where we all held, and they came out with 10 parameters which can give happiness. Learning ambience, quality of governance, status, involvement in partnership, career enrichment and empowerment, healthcare, rewards and recognition, respect, working environment, self-esteem. Now this word respect changes meaning from the age brackets. Yeah, let's say, okay, now respect we should get money. Good package. The first placement issue is, what is the package being offered? Is it 10 lakhs or 5 lakhs? Nobody cares for respect. But if I am not repeating, a consultant came to my room in Reliance and shared with me a list of 10 people who were ready to shed off their 10 lakhs of CTC if the change can give them respect. He told me the companies, he told me the names. From these companies, people want to change by losing 10 lakhs in their CTC only if they get respect. So like this, we found out that there are 10 parameters in an organizational frame. I'm not talking of happiness of a rishi who is sitting in Himalayas and is very happy. I'm not talking of that person. I'm talking of people working in an organization. What are the happiness indices? So they identified these 10 parameters and then made a survey across whole of Mumbai, not only Reliance. Every director HR of every small and big company was sent this questionnaire that please tell us, how do you rank these 10 parameters contributing to happiness and give them marks out of 10. So the ranks have been out of 100. He said out of 100, you tell us how much weightage you give to salary, how much weightage you give to status, respect, this and that. And the survey of so many thousands of companies said that the first rank should be given to, can you guess? Pardon? Working environment. Anything else? Respect. Anything else? Salary. Career growth. You will all be surprised. The first rank came to learning and use. आदमी कितना भूखा है सीखने के लिए. Yes, it is true. First rank came to learning ambience. They got some 13.9, so we rounded it up to 14. The second came salary. Again 14, because I rounded it up. It was 13.5 or something, 13.6. But lesser than learning ambience. Slightly lesser than learning ambience. So number 2 is salary. Number 3, working environment. They gave 12 marks. These are all numbers out of 100. Career enrichment and empowerment, 10 marks. Respect, 10 marks. Rewards and recognition, 9. Status, 8. Involvement and partnership, 8. Quality of governance, 8. Healthcare, 7. And total, 100. Now, this questionnaire was sent to all kinds of people, senior, junior, middle management. So priorities slightly varied. Learning was given highest weightage by the management trainees and junior engineers who just joined the organization. They gave highest marks. Middle management gave salary very high ranking, but somewhere learning was like this. Learning and respect. You see the position. The youngsters gave highest marks to learning and respect was somewhere here. Middle management, learning was here and respect was here. And senior management, they wanted respect first. And then learning comes. Which is very natural. Which is very natural. The senior vice president says, I go to my vice chairman and say, no, he doesn't even offer a chair. मेरे को चपरासी जैसा बात करता है. He is getting 50 lakhs package. So this concern is respect first. So this chart gives you the slight difference of opinion. But you know what we did? Yeah. Absolutely. Now what we did? What we did was, we gave, while averaging all this chart, what we did was, we gave 2 marks to youngsters, 5 marks to middle management, and remaining 3 marks to, in fact 2 marks to senior management, 5 to them and 2 to them in terms of weightage. Why? The juniors, though we respected their opinion, these days the trend is they change within 2 years. Very small stake, 1 year, 2 years. So how much their opinion should count for the organization? The senior managers are going to retire. They are going to retire. So their weightage was 3. The maximum time these guys will remain and contribute to the organization. So we give 5 marks to them. So like that, weighted average we took, and then I showed you the table. Now, this was not such a simple research. After this, what these guys did was, each of these parameters, like learning, they made a subset of 10 parameters. Number of books in the library, number of times they were issued, number of the megabytes in the e-library, and number of times it was visited. Training programs, in what fashion they did. So they made 10 subsets of each parameter. So it became a matrix of 100 parameters. These 10 were main parameters, and each having a subset of 10 parameters. And when we looked at those 100 parameters, we captured EQ, IQ, SQ, all the 3 parameters automatically. What matters to people? If you have interest, I will show you the big report which tells which are those 100 parameters. So, with that 100 parameters in hand, which gives happiness which determines the happiness index of an organization, we told the head of HR that, Mr. Head of HR, what happiness you can bring in this organization by 10% hike in salary, or say 20% hike in salary, I can bring it with just 10% hike in salary. But the way I will work on 100 parameters, you should allow me to work for their happiness. Like giving an award in my room, calling these 3 people would have been different rather than bringing it here in front of 100 people. It's a EQ area. I could have called them to my room. But bringing it here in front of 100 people